ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the SSE is part of the most entertaining droid in the world. It is me, it is R2D2. How we doing today, everybody? I hope you all are doing fantastic. So, like I mentioned in our last video, Seattle Superlacs do not have an opponent for Week 7 of the Great Lakes Draft League Erie Division due to the Boise State Earthlings having to drop from the league. So instead of our usual gameplay, I thought we could do a review of each team in the league now that the trading deadline has come and gone. These are the teams that are locked in for that final playoff push and also come the postseason. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we're doing. Hey, we're down here. So, teams over on this side, that will be where the team that that'll be the team that they drafted. Record here will show what their record is going into Week 7. Record here will indicate what I project them to be come the end of the regular season. And the team slots over here, that is the team that they are locked in on with the rest of the season. So, the 12th place team should be and will be the Earthlings from Boise State due to them having to drop the league. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the standings based off of how I project them to go. Again, please do not take this as any slide or shade or anything towards any individual team or coach. Unfortunately, somebody has to finish last. And I truly do believe that this has been a phenomenal league, despite maybe the parity and the spread between the records. So let's go ahead and check out the team that I think will finish in 11th place. And that team is the Chicago Cubs. I project they are currently at a 1-5 record, where I project them to finish 2-8. I think they'll be able to snag one more victory before the end of the season. Their original team that they drafted was Urshifu Rapid Strike, Tornadus Incarnate, Rhyperior, Still Valley, Alchemy, Weezing, Nidoking, Electivire, Oranguru, Cliffa, and Corsola. The transactions that they did throughout the year, leading them to a current 25-43 kill to death ratio, is they dropped Tornadus I for Blacephalon. I loved this move. It gave the team a solid ghost and fire type, something that was lacking. And another speed tier that people got to creep. Now, with its base 107 speed, it is now the fastest thing on the team, previously held by Urshifu at 97. Also gave this team a monster special attacker with that 151 base stat. But one of the other moves that they did was they dropped Weezing for Meowstic Female. This move confuses me personally. Why drop the King of Disruption with that neutralizing gas for a fast fake out mon that gets competitive? I don't see it. I wouldn't have made that move. And then the third move that they made was they dropped Cliffa for Aldino. Again, another confusing move in my opinion. Cliffa gave them the redirection with an Eviolite, could survive a turn or two as your other mon set up. Not sure what Aldino brings to the table outside of its mediocre stats. But the team's MVP is Rhyperior with their 16 KOs. Rhyperior and Urshifu are the only mons with an even or better kill to death ratio. They really leaned heavy on Rhyperior this season. They're showing a little bit of a one-trick pony with Trick Room. They have the tools to snag a victory in the next couple of weeks, so they can avoid being a one-win. So, next up, finishing in 10th place is the Ninjards. The Ninjards, with a kill to death ratio of 25-41, drafted Rillaboom, Zapdos, Inteleon, Polytoad, Aerodactyl, Renugerous, Kabutops, Kling, Torcat, Greedent, and Dedenne. The moves that they've went where they dropped Inteleon for Duraludon. I'm okay with this move. Duraludon isn't that bulky, but given the great defensive typing of Steel Dragon, I could see it fitting. I was able to see it really fit on the team. Good special attack stat and faster than you think. One of the other moves that they did was they dropped Polytoad for Togetic. Again, this move confuses me as well. You cut a rain setter when you have a Swift Swimmer on the team, and you don't replace it with a fast rain setter. Togetic is a great Pokemon. Don't get me wrong, especially in draft. I, I don't understand this move. And then the last move that they did was they dropped Dedenne for base Rotom. Meh. I'm kind of on the radar for that one. It's one electric tier 5 for another. Curious to see what they have cooking up with it, though. This team's MVP is Kling, leading the team with 9 KOs. Similar to the Cub Foods, the Ninjards lean on Kling to pull the weight, as it is the only Pokemon with a positive kill to death ratio at 9 to 6. I would love to see them explore other options on this team as they try to claw their way out. Coming in at 9th place, we got Born in Chaos with a kill to death ratio team wide of 45 to 53. They drafted Moltres Galar, Indeedee Female, Raichu, Crocodile, Slowbro, Frostlass, Orbeetle, Sceptile, Skarmory, Turtonator, and Sawk. The transactions that they did was they dropped Orbeetle from a champ, and I absolutely loved that move. It gave the team some much needed physical attack with its base 130. Speed tier is a little lackluster, but it does get Guts, No Guard, which can be great in draft if used right. One of the other moves that they used, one other free agent transaction that they used was Skarmory for Tauros. This move confuses me. You already have Crocodile with an attack stat of 117, speed stat of 92, who has Intimidate and Anger Point for another Intimidate Anger Point Pokemon that has a 100 base attack, 110 speed. I could see the speed difference being able to be a little more functional, but I don't know if the big difference between these two Pokemon is that Tauros gets Sheer Force versus Crocodile's Moxie. And yes, Sheer Force is a great ability, but Tauros does lack a move pool to kind of abuse it. Only moves that I see that it gets with its physical attack is Rock Slide. Kind of want the 30% chance for Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, and Body Slam. Body Slam, Stab, Sheer Force, Life Orb could do some work, but it's a normal type attack. But again, though, those are the only moves that I would consider. I would say that Crocodile's Moxie is the better, worst ability for each Pokemon. And the final move that they used was they dropped Sawk for Mawile. Again, this is a meh. It's a tier 5 for a tier 5. Not sure if this makes or breaks the team composition. But Born in Chaos is the 3-game machine. Every match played so far this season against when they played the Seattle Superlacs went to game 3. With better anticipation of what opponent is going to bring game 3 or better RNG, praise the RNGesus, this team could definitely be looking at a better record. The sad thing for them is they play 2 of the top 5 teams in the league over the next 3 weeks. They can snag a victory against both those teams. Born in Chaos could be looking at a playoff spot. MVP going to Moltres, and compound that with Sceptile. They are both the only ones with a positive kill to death ratio and double digit kills, 13 and 12 respectively. I think they have the firepower to do it. The next team we're going to take a look at is the Boston Cantons. Boston Cantons sitting at a 2-4 record. I expect them to get up to a 5-5 record. Fortunately, that 5-5 record is not going to be good enough to make the playoffs due to tiebreakers. But the team has a kill to death ratio of 31 to 38, where they drop Spiritomb for Lickitung. Again, this is a meh trade for me. Tier 5 moves don't really move the needle for me unless there is clearly a role for either Mon. I don't see that here. Boston Cantons are sadly the first team we are going to go over that I think will finish the season at a with a 500 record, 5-5 win loss. They do have a win and you're in schedule ahead of them, as the next 3 teams they play are ahead of them in the standings, with the Ninjars as their week 10 opponent. If Dragalge can get those Trick Room KOs, Swampert MVP, getting them out of Trick Room, Boston Cantons have a good chance to make the playoffs. But I have them finishing tied at 6th place, but losing the tiebreakers, getting 8th place. So they're 8. We have the Skenton Schizoars coming in at number 7. The team that they drafted to get to a 24-35 kill to death ratio. Clefairy, Garchomp, Corviknight, Suicune, Rotom Fan, Serena, Netric, Mr. Rhyme, Pangoro, Drizzle, and Kragnol. So the transactions that they did was they dropped the Snowflake for Magmar. I'm okay with it. They completed the Fire, Water, Grass core with Serena and Suicune. Better fire type would have been ideal, but Magmar with the Eviolite, I'm sure it can be bulky enough to throw the opponent's game plan off enough for them to take advantage. The Skenton Schizoars are the second team we are going to go over with a 500 record by the end of the season with their 5-5 win loss. The setup queen leading the way with getting the MVP award, despite its 0-11 kill death ratio. If you took those KOs out of the equation, they would be at 24-24. But by sacrificing Clefairy to take the abuse from Gmax's turn, allows the Schizoars cleanup hitters, Garchomp with a kill to death ratio of 97, Suicune at 7-6, and even Corviknight at 5-1 to score those KOs. It may look like a bad mon on the stat sheet, but it definitely is the MVP of this almost playoff team, failing just short at 7th place. Who's making the playoffs according to R2? Well, let's see who makes number 6. Coming in at 6th place based off of my projections and winning the 3-way 5-5 tie is the Ohio Oshawott. They drafted Togekiss, Venusaur, Comfey, Pheromosa, Talonflame, Ranunculus, Drapion, Riolu, Seaking, Low Bunny, and Stunfisk to a kill death ratio team wise to the set of 34-37. The transactions that they did, they dropped Comfey for Ninetales. I absolutely love this move. They got a good drought setter, was pivotal for their MVP Venusaur, helping it reach 9 KOs. Plus, Ninetales can hit hard and fast as well for itself. Also gave them an abundance of fire types so they could make their other move, which was dropping Talonflame for Crobat. Again, I loved this move too. You dropped a situational priority Tailwind setter for a base 130 speed Tailwind setter. Plus, you were able to maintain flying type while adding a possible fairy check with poison. This is one of the better moves. I would have made this move myself. I really liked it. But Ohio Oshawotts, welcome to the playoffs. I think, anyways. as I expect to see them win the tiebreakers between the Schizoars and the Cantons to clinch that last playoff spot. Behind the kill leader and MVP Venusaur, who has a kill death ratio of 9 to 6, I could see this team making some noise with that outside heat. Don't overlook the lower C team here with Ninetales telling stories in the drought and wacky but functional sets like Weakness Policy Sea King. They can bring the heat. So, there's 6th place. Who do we got finishing 5th? That would be the Lake Erie Wishy-Washies, who have the overall team composition of a kill death ratio to the tune of 54 to 47. And they drafted the exact same team that they have as they've not done any transactions. So Thunderous Incarnate, Arcanine, Blastoise, Hydreigon, Vanillix, Weezing Galar, Archeops, Dugtrio Alola, Glade, Trevenant, and Garbodor. I expect this team to be able to get to that 6-4 record, finishing in 5th place. And what's helped them get to that point is that they are the first team that we're looking at that have a positive kill to death ratio. And that just goes to show the serious threat this team is just to win it all. But if you take a look even deeper into the stats, you've got Weezing Galar, the only Pokemon with a negative kill to death split at 4-7. Everyone else is pulling their weight and is at least even. They possibly have the hardest last 4 weeks of the schedule as they play other playoff bound teams 2 out of the 4 weeks, plus the Baltimore Cantons on the cusp of making that 3 out of 4. So, who do we got finishing 4th? That would be my next week opponent, the Mass Magikarps, coached by Rolo. They have an overall team death kill to death ratio of 45 to 41, where they drafted Celesteela, Grimmsnarl, Mudsdale, Ludicolo, Pelipper, Slowking Galar, Togedemaru, Druddigon, Stoutland, Rapidash, and Hitmonchan. The transactions that they did, they dropped Mudsdale for Goodra. I like it. They swapped out a defensive wall for a special defensive wall with a wide range of abilities and move pool, which this gave them the flexibility to go multiple team building routes. Not that they've done it. The other move that they did was they dropped Druddigon for Dugtrio. I love this move. Dugtrio became the fastest thing on the team with its base 120 speed, and it can utilize that in speed control with Bulldoze and some other solid move choices. And the final move, they traded Rapidash for the Snowflake. Again, meh. Base 115 Icy Wind. Not too sure what the Snowflake brings to the table. I mean, that wasn't already there. The Mass Magikarps are being carried by their MVP Celesteela, who makes up for 56% of their kills at 25 KOs. The only other even or better Pokemon on the team with the kill to death ratio are Pelipper, who's 5-5, Stoutland, who's 2-0, and the aforementioned Goodra, who's 4-4. Goodra should have better numbers come season's end, as teams will start focusing their game plans around Celesteela, which Goodra should be able to take advantage of. If the Magikarp masses can get a solid secondary offensive presence, it could easily make it to the championship league, if not taking the whole kit and caboodle. And finishing 3rd, we have the Baltimore Pangoros, who drafted Excadrill, Tyranitar, Milotic, Entei, Aromatisse, Jellicent, Togepi, Flapple, Sigilyph, Haunter, and Persian. I expect them to go finish the season at 7-3, behind the team that they made the transactions for. Those transactions are: they dropped Entei for Rotom Heat, and I'm okay with this move. It added electric type without losing the fire water core, while also improving their ground matchup due to Levitate. I'm a huge Entei fan, so I always hate to see it not utilized, but this move does make sense. They also dropped Jellicent for Hitmontop, and I like this move. With its Intimidate ability, Hitmontop can help the big hitter survive longer. Helping Hand, Fake Out Support can help most those big hitters get KOs. Nothing too special, just a good solid free agent. The Baltimore Pangoros are the team that keeps on trucking week in and week out, racking up the wins to a third place finish. They bring the wins home with each member of their team doing its job to the best, which is a sign of a good coach. With the stand core, they don't bring that often, bringing in half their kills. Both Excadrill and Tyranitar, aka MVP T-Tar, have 9 KOs each. I'd expect nothing less than W's from them as they only play one playoff bound team, and that is week 9. They match up against the Lake Erie Wishy. And coming in, the team is going to get the first round bye is us. As we are currently sitting at a 4-2 record, and I expect us to be able to get up to a 7-3 record, where we drafted again Colossal, Rotom Wash, Primarina, Virizion, Dusknoir, Vigavolt, Sneasel, Golduck, Purloin, Doublade, and Fletchling. We have a kill to death ratio of 42 to 26, the best in the league. So the transactions that we did was we traded Rotom Wash for Gyarados. I love this move. One of the reasons why I did it. Gyarados is a great offensive option if Virizion and Colossal don't have good matchups. Plus, with Intimidate and Moxie, you never know what ability will be brought any given week. We also dropped Vigavolt for Nidoking. I'm a little meh on this trade, to be honest. Not buyer's remorse, but I don't know. Nidoking hasn't been on the team long, but I do feel it does have a role here as a late game non-Dynamax cleaner, especially once Cole, Virizion, and Gyarados tear through the team. And then our third transaction that we completed was we dropped Golduck for Luxray. Again, I love this move. Support Luxray for a tier 4 slot is phenomenal. I haven't had a chance to utilize it as much as I would like, but it's definitely one of the last mons each week to get cut from the team if it's not there come team preview. The Seattle Superlax, being the trade masters that we are, also despite having me as the coach, is in a good position to get the first round bye in the playoffs, as I expect. Again, we finished second place. With the best setup man in the game, MVP for the Seattle Superlax is Sneasel, helping Cole 13-7, Gyarados 5-1, and Virizion 72 kill to death ratios reach some impressive numbers. The additions again of Luxray and Nidoking haven't gotten to shine yet, but Gyarados making a case for best coach-to-coach trade of the year has brought the heat. Despite having the hardest final 3 weeks in the regular season, playing 3 playoff-bound teams, the Seattle Superlax should be able to showcase what we're made of, like we have all season. So if we're finishing second, who's beating us in the standings? Well, that would be the West Coast Braviaries, where again I expect them to get up to an 8-2 record from their 5-1 current standings. Where they drafted a Dragapult, Drakion, Gyarados, Gardevoir, Rotom-Mow, Bisharp, Tangela, Magmortar, Rhydon, Fletchinder, and Walrein. The team is currently sitting at a 39-30 kill to death ratio. Not bad. Excuse me. So the transactions that they did was they traded Gyarados for Rotom Wash, and then they ended up dropping Rotom Wash for Gastrodon. I like this move. I like Gastrodon on this team as it redirects water attacks from Drakion, Order, Sandaconda, and Fletchinder. Plus, the extra bulk and lower speed make it a Trick Room sweeper with the right situation. one of their other moves that they did was they dropped Bisharp for Schizoars. And I like this trade as well. Most teams aren't going to bring Intimidate against the West Coast Braviaries, and Tracking still hits hard at +5, and Dragapult can't have its stats dropped. Bisharp being a Defiant Mom made it expendable, and picking up Schizoar with Tactician was a good call. Solid attack stat, priority stab, throw a Choice Band on this thing, and it can go crazy. And their last transaction that they did was they dropped Rhydon for Sandaconda. I'm I'm not sold on this. This would get a meh rating. Rhydon with Eviolite could have done some work on this team, but Sandaconda does bring some things to the table. I'm just not sure what they are. But the winner of the regular season, I see it goes to the West Coast Braviaries. Behind their MVP Dragapult, only lost us week 1. So far this year, they are built to finish strong. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go 4-0 over the next 4 weeks, but I think it might be unfair to expect them to finish the season on a 9-game win streak. They did that with the second best kill to death ratio in the league. It's hard to get 4 KOs in a game before this team does. That's illustrated by the fact that they only have gone to game 3 twice so far this year. So that's it for this little tidbit video. Um, Please, if you made it this far through the video, hit the sub button, hit the like button, drop a comment. Um, you like these types of videos where it's not necessarily gameplay and it's just me giving my 2 cents and analysis on things? Um, Let me know again down in the comment section below. And again, this will be the first video where you can collect entries for our raffle. Again, hit the sub, 10 entries. Hit the like button, 5 entries. And you drop a comment, that is 1 entry where you can earn up to 5 additional entries by leaving 5 separate but functional comments. What I mean by that is you can't just go, I, as a comment, love, as a comment, this team, no, it's got to be 5 different concepts. But I'll be the judge of that and whether it deserves additional entries or not. And again, what we will raffle off will be $20 payable by PayPal or Discord Nitro. And again, if you or somebody you know is also looking at starting a VGC draft league, let me know. The Great Lakes Draft League is probably going to end around mid to late October. Ideally, that's when the next league would pick up. So if you know of anybody in that time frame of starting a VGC draft league, honestly, ideally cartridge. This is fun. I enjoy playing on the cartridge, but I'm not opposed to Showdown either. So hit me with that Discord invite down below in the comment section. Until next time, guys. Bye.